Hey there everybody, this is going to be an introduction to deck building. I may end up doing several parts to this, we'll just have to see how it goes as I talk through the mechanics and see if there's more that I can talk on later. I noticed a lot of people are having difficulty building effective combos, and I wanted to give this tutorial to give new players a hand and even help intermediate players who may not have noticed a few of Absolver's nuances. The first thing that's important when building your deck is identifying the core concept of your gameplay, whether it's building a deck to counter certain styles of play, or building a style of play that incorporates certain movesets. I like to build counter decks in general, so one thing that's currently very popular is building a deck that has 3 charge attacks on the alternate attacks. Something like this. I'll just throw some of those on there. And then we need the Furious Uppercut. Where are you? Oh, no, the Grab Punch. There you go. Okay. Something like this. It chains into itself quite easily. And against players who aren't really prepared to deal with it, it can be very effective. But it's actually rather limiting and a fairly easy style to play around once you have the right build and strategy in mind. So let's start off with a clean slate, and I will just kind of build a deck and kind of highlight what I'm doing while I'm doing it. So the first thing that you need to do is have an Initiator. This is generally a long-ranged move, and this is the move that you're going to be using to initiate most of your combat. You know, this is from your neutral state. This is where, at least in the beginning, you'll be using this move to either chase people that are trying to run away from you, or just close the gap. So something like Tripped Kick, Dwitch Chagi, Mawashi's pretty good. There's a few others. Ankle Stamp. My favorite is either Dwitch Chagi or Tripped Kick. Tripped Kick is really useful because it's a sweep that has it's a medium. Well, I guess it's a long range, but it doesn't really feel that long. But it is a very quick attack that has a sweep on it, and this will catch anyone that's dodging. And so it just makes it a really good all-round initiator. It also has the dodge down, so people that are spamming things like jabs, you can often get this attack off and start your own chain while interrupting theirs. So for now, yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the basics. One of the common strategies I see people having trouble with is having opponents not even bother using their special ability and resort only to dodging. If your opponent's doing this, all you need to do is add little hooks, things like that, anything that has a curved attack to it, and this will catch them, especially the really fast ones, and you'll be able to trap your opponent fairly easily. In my Initiator string, I like to put a nice heavy hit in there, so I usually will build Spinning High Kick in there. The reason why I like a big hit is because it seems fairly obvious, but because it is fairly obvious, it is good for conditioning your opponent. And I'll talk a little bit about conditioning, kind of meta moves, conditioning, and other high-level concepts, probably in another video, but right now we'll kind of stick to the basics. So here you have a decent kind of initiator. You've got the range, you've got a trapping move, and then you have a high damage move. The high spin kick is good, especially for opponents that try to avoid. It can catch avoiders quite a lot, and even people who parry, because it's such a slow attack, can actually catch them if they parry too early. The only thing about the spinning high kick is that it is easy as shit to dodge from, so that's something you're going to have to keep in mind when you're using it. Now, probably the other important part is to pay attention to where your alts are. So for right now, these two are going to be my top left. So right here, I need a decent attack to go there. And because these two are sweeps, and this third one is a sweep, I'm going to make this next one a straight attack. I'm either going to do... I want to do jump out elbow. I like jump out elbow. Jump out elbow can be parried on either side, so it's kind of a little more risky than something like front kick. But for some reason, aesthetically, I just like jump out elbow more. And then let's see. So we have an initiator. We have a decent alternate for both of these attacks. Now we can make a kind of reactionary back stance. Now, if your opponent is really into spamming attacks, but they're not too fast, you can have this initiator or alternate be grab punch. Grab punch is insanely good. Its tracking right now is crazy. So even if someone avoids to the side, it can often catch them just because the tracking is so stupid right now. But for your other reaction, one of the go-to meta moves at the moment right now, just because it's so useful, is, if I can find it, I can't because I'm dumb. Yeah, there we go, backstretch kick. Alright, this move is so fast that even if you gold chain into this move, it's incredibly difficult to parry, it's incredibly difficult to avoid. Absorbing is slightly easier, but this is a really good go-to move, especially considering that it has the down dodge, and a lot of people are going to be using kind of high attacks. So this will be a good spamming string. This will be one that you can use to just trap your opponent over and over. So maybe we'll do something like this. We want to finish. I'll do something like, oh, yeah, sure. Oh, no, we don't want to do that. Okay, yeah, there we go. So this is a really fast string, and we'll move over into our bottom left here. And as you can see, we can actually use our guard break and our absorb off of two of these moves. So this gives us a nice little bit of utility. And something that you have to keep in mind whenever you're building a deck, your alternates are incredibly important and are really what going to give you the utility, or you either use them as utility or bridges between your other stances. So because we're spamming this one, we'll make this one also quite quick. Actually, we're gonna put you here. Yeah. Then we'll put boom, sidekick there. This is a pretty meta setup as well. This is very similar to either having 3 absorbs. This is very common. You'll see something like this on Forsaken movesets. This is kind of your standard at the moment. I play Windfall, but this is good for both. What was I doing? All right, yeah, we'll here we're gonna want a slightly ranged attack. We'll do this. Okay, we'll do that. Now, the reason I'm actually putting this move in here is the double hit will be good against charge attacks. So when you're dealing with an opponent that uses triple charges, having 2 or 3 double hitting moves is always a safe bet. I want a low attack probably. Or actually, finish and do that. Nope, we don't want that. and then we can have Donkey Slap in the back there. Alright. Yeah, I like that. Alright. And then this one, I know I'm not really describing what I'm doing very well right now. I'm just going to throw some stuff in here. Boom. And then the double. Where's the double? Oh no. We want another big hit, so we'll do, let's see, forward, no, we'll do we need a big sweep. Sure, let's do that, because I can't be about thinking about it too much. Alright, okay. Now, having an absorb break on one of your initial moves is a really nice, easy way to just fuck up anyone that's using charged base moves. A lot of people get annoyed and panicked when you do this. But right now, you'll actually notice when I put a lot of this into practice that a lot of our moves, a lot of my utility will actually be, there you go, yeah. Boom. There you go. See now, okay, there you go. So this is, you know, this isn't perfect. I kind of just made this on the fly while I'm talking, so it's not very well thought out. But this has, you know, most of the utility you're gonna need and most of the mix-ups that you're gonna need. Now, whenever you're building a deck, you need to make sure that not only do you have the tools to deal with any playstyle, but you have the mix-ups once someone starts adapting to those tools. So, you know, in every step of the way. So this one is, like, if you go on, what you should do is you should look at every string, and you go, okay, this is a down, up, up. Well, at any point, if I use my alternate, it'll be down middle, because I can use my jump out elbow. Here is the same thing. This would normally be a sweep up, but instead I can use my jump out elbow and it'll be a down. So this will be a good string to mess with avoid users and people to get used to dodging this. This is the same. This is an up avoid, but I have a low spinning move on the bottom. So once people start getting used to dealing with that, I'll just switch to my spin, which I think the spin goes, oh no, the spin goes on the other side. I may not like that as, wait, I have to practice, wait, I have to see if this works. Nope, wrong one. Oh no, see, that's fine. Okay, so normally, yeah, that urumawashi goes on my left side, but as soon as someone tries to parry that, I just do that instead, and I have different options. And that's what you're going to want to do, is you want to build different options to trick your opponent. Now, some people that play parry, especially with the way it is at the moment, is, you know, it's kind of a little bit overtuned at the moment. It's not completely overpowered, but it is overtuned. You know, when you're dealing with these parry gods, there is ways to deal with them that require you to feint, require you to hesitate. Yeah, this is actually kind of a fun moveset. Okay. So yeah, I think that those kind of all of the main things. What you want to make sure, and I know I'm kind of repeating myself at the moment, is you have your utility, you have your mix-ups. Once you have those concepts in there, you should be able to deal with really anything. The three kind of main metas at the moment is rushdown, charged-based attacks, and countering with Forsaken. Those are the main things you really gotta the high level concepts you gotta watch out for. Now there's kind of your kind of noob level concepts, like just dodging absolutely everything. And cult again is something else you gotta watch for. But again, cult are probably going to be when you can chain almost all of your moves into doing some combo of this. Nope, wrong one. This right here, this is gonna fuck up anyone who is gonna try to spam your spam their absorbs. So you're making sure that you have a tool for every opponent and a mix-up for when you start getting read. When people start reading you, when they start downloading your moveset, then you mix into your alternates and you should be good. Should be good to go. Charge breaking moves can be really incredibly useful. Dwit Shaggy is actually also an amazing opener. Its range is nope, wrong one. Its range is just incredible. It's really quick. It's just as useful as the trip kick. Although the trip kick is slightly a little bit better, just because it is a sweep. Now I don't want to be too overwhelming for one of my first videos, and I know I've been rambling a little bit. So I think just keeping some of these concepts in mind will help a lot of new players build combos that chain effectively into each other. So if you got any questions, if you have anything you specifically want me to talk about, just go ahead and ask, and I will probably make another video with an update. And yeah, alright, this is Cavorting Ogre signing off.